there are many adventures that we experience in life. I consider childhood adventures the most memorable of all. Don't you miss those times when you could just play around and let the grown-ups do all the worrying? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my childhood adventures as a Colombian were surrounded by mountains, animals, and family. Although I was a city girl, my mom and my aunts used to send me and my cousins to spend time with our grandma. This used to happen every school break, and there was nothing else that we would look more forward to. My grandma lived on a farm in the middle of a mountain in Colombia where there was nothing else around. For us to get to the closest neighbor, we had to walk for 30 minutes. My grandma was a farmer, and she cultivated all types of roots, fruits, and vegetables that tropical soils can produce. When we went there, she used to take us with her to work the land, but we always used to sneak around to play. The mountains are a great place to play hide and seek, and we used to find treasures all the time. This reminds me of a time when we found some horse skulls, and we spent all afternoon trying to determine what happened to the horses. Oh, talking about horses? We love horses. And this reminds me of another time when we decided to wash the horses and clean the horses' teeth with my grandma's toothbrush. A secret we never reveal. While we think she may have been wondering what happened to her toothbrush when she saw it was green. Yes, we brushed the horse's teeth with grandma's toothbrush. But you should have seen how clean they were after. The days on the farm start early around 5 a.m. when the sun went up and the rooster crowed, and ended early around 5:30 p.m. when the sun went down. At night, our grandma would tell us stories about witches and ghosts that had haunted the mountain. Not the best bedtime stories for 10-year-old kids. But there was one school break I will never forget. Our mothers used to send me and my cousins together by ourselves. They would tell the bus driver where to drop us off, and we would travel in the back of the bus, sitting on some big sacks of potatoes next to a bunch of chickens. Yes, live chickens. After 6 hours of traveling, we would arrive to our destination where the bus driver would drop us off. We would stay at the station house on the top of the mountain. It was 5 p.m. that day, and the sun was still up. We were told that if we were to arrive and the sun was down, we should stay at the station house and go to Grandma's the next day. But that day, we felt adventurous, and we said, well, we have our lantern in case it gets dark. So there we go, and we start our journey down the mountain to Grandma's house. It would take us about 30 to 40 minutes to get there. The paths were very narrow, and there were some parts of the mountain where it was very steep. We were a little more than halfway through when the nightfall came. Don't worry, we took our lantern out and continued our journey. But suddenly, my cousin, the one leading the way, the one holding the lantern, tripped over a rock. The lantern fell down and the batteries fell out. It was so dark that day that it was impossible to see what was in front of us. We went down, find the batteries, put them back in the lantern, and it did not turn on. We were terrified to continue our way without being able to see our surroundings. We started yelling for Grandma. We could hear her dogs barking, but nothing more. We decided we would have to spend the night there, in the open. So we decided to take all our clothes out, lay it on the ground, to protect us from getting bitten by any insects, lay down and hug each other. My cousin, the youngest among us, was the bravest of all, and he said, don't worry, I will protect us. But if the worst wasn't there yet, it started raining. And it rained all night long. We prayed to stay safe and for the sun to come up again. Around 4 a.m., my cousin woke us up. The sun was coming up. We could see the way. So we packed all our stuff and ran to Grandma's house. We knocked on her door. Grandma! She opened, and she could not believe we were there that early and completely soaked. We told her what happened, and we had to spend all day under covers drinking hot tea to be able to stop shaking. Don't worry, we survived. My grandma is not on the farm any longer. She lives on the city now with my mom because of her health issues. But my cousins and I will never forget those times that we spent at grandma's farm, where we could just stay all day killing grasshoppers, brushing the horses' teeth, or playing family time with the chickens. But more especially, we would never forget that day when we spent the night camping with no tent, soaked and scared, but feeling the love and support you can only get from family. Thank you.
We'll have 1 minute silence.